ladies and gentlemen, we have to interrupt our regular broadcast to bring you this important news. You're looking at T11 Pro BC version. One of my viewers, Mr. Jakub, Jacob in English, but we will stay with Jakub, ordered a T11 Pro BC pair a few weeks ago, and after they got shipped to his place, he contacted me asking if I would be interested in reviewing those. Yes, I was interested and I was very happy and very thankful that he asked me about that. So we've arranged the shipping, and since Mr. Jakub will be on winter holiday skiing for the almost whole month, I have some time to do a first look, to do a proper test, and I will need to do a burn-in too, because apparently those guys were playing only for just a couple of hours before Jakub packed them back to the original boxes and shipped them to me. So those guys will require something like 1 week of the burn-in, but right now we are able to take a look inside and take a look outside at the T11 Pro BC. So the first thing is the front plate. Large trans audio logo, power on and off rocker, and one green LED status diode for the amplifier status. Nothing interesting on one side and a set of large headsinks on the other side. Obviously this is a monoblock, so there are two of them and I'm opening only one of them because both of them are looking exactly the same internally, although they are mirrored, meaning that the second one will have the radiators on the other side. The idea is that you can place them together with those sides being the internal sides facing the same way, facing the same spot, and having the radiators facing the outside. So in the back of the amplifier we have trans audio label with T11 Pro BC version. It's black. We have a serial number and that was designed for AC 250 volts. We have one XLR input that's labeled XLS like Excel file. That's funny, but it happens. We have one RCA input and we have a small switch that allows you to choose the input. And we have two sets of speaker terminals. Those are the same guys that you've already seen in my other reviews. And yes, and we have one power input socket with integrated fuse. Now what's interesting is actually inside the amplifier. So let's take a look there. Give me a second to place my camera in a different way. Okay, so I wanted to put this the camera in with this angle to show you the quick overview of the amplifier before we will get to the amplifier boards. So what we have here is slow start module with NTCs. We have a speaker protection module with Omron relays. We have capacitor banks with BC Vishay capacitors, and down there we have a metal plate that's acting as a shield for two toroidal transformers that are placed down below. Now we also have one additional small board that's a small power supply and it's connected to this input board. So let's talk about this input board and let's zoom in over there. Yeah, the input board is using Burr Brown, let's zoom in even further, Burr Brown driver 154PA, DRV 154PA. That's actually balanced line driver from Texas Instruments, and this guy is used to convert the RCA single-ended signal into proper balanced signal. And this board requires additional power supply for that Burr Brown currently Texas Instrument D-Pate chip. So we have a small power supply that's running down there. So, as you probably suspect, this means that the amplifier as it is fully balanced, because it does convert the single-ended signal to balanced mode. And he doesn't do that for the native input from XLR. And that's true. The amplifier boards are exactly the same boards that can be found in T9.3 and T9.4. I was looking at them, and yes, I wasn't comparing each component value, but I was comparing the placing of the components, the types of the components, etc. And those are looking exactly the same as the T9.4 boards. There is a difference though. Those guys are not being provided with balanced signal, but one of them, the top one, is provided with a regular input signal, let's say the positive side, and the other one is provided with inverted input signal, which means that those guys are working in BTL mode. And yes, that's true, the outputs of the boards are connected to this speaker protection and speaker output board in BTL mode. And that means that this guy is as powerful or slightly more powerful than T9.4, and we have two of them. So this is quite powerful setup. What else can we see here? We have a lot of room. The amplifier doesn't get very hot. It stays within, let's say, 40 degrees centigrade, a little less probably. It's barely warm to the touch after a couple of hours of running in. Let's take a look at the capacitors, because that's the specialty of this version. Those are BC Vishay caps. Each one of them is rated for 10,000 microfarads, and we have 12 of them. 4 in a row and 3 rows going down there. So we have 120,000 microfarads for one channel, because this basically works as a one channel, although that would be 60,000 microfarads per one board. And if you take a look underneath here, you may be able to see the toroidal transformers. One is over here and the second one is over here, and we may even try to take a look at the label. I don't know if it will work out. Yes, and it looks like, my mistake. Let's try that again. Zoom out, zoom in. Yes, almost there. Almost there. Each one of them is supposed to be 600 watts. Maybe we can do that trick with the other one. Let's force the focus here. Yeah, we can see that, but we cannot see the output power clearly. So anyway, it looks like it's 600 watts per one amplifier board, meaning that altogether we have 1200 watts to our disposal for each channel, meaning the whole amplifier, because remember, that's the monoblock. That's the mono amplifier, meaning 1.2 kilowatts per one channel. Pretty impressive, I have to admit that. Those guys are really heavy. Each one of them weighs roughly the same as T9.4, meaning it's something like 54 or almost 40 kilograms. I don't remember, 58 maybe. I don't remember, I'd have to check on the box, but those are really heavy. The good thing is that they are running quite cool. They are not very hot, and I'm mentioning that here for those of you that live in hot and humid locations. The top plate has venting holes that are placed over the amplifier board, but if you take a look at the size of those venting holes, I think those are more for aesthetical purposes than to provide any kind of real airflow. And the top plate is super thick at something like 7 millimeters. Looks like a bulletproof plate. And yes, I think that's it. Yeah, the small red guys are German Wima capacitors. There's not a lot of caps inside, especially when you take a look at the board. And I will zoom in right now, so you can see that all of the red guys are German Wima caps, and those are exactly the same boards that you've seen in the T9.4 review. The blue guys have Nichicons, and as it was in T9.4 and T9.3, we do have OP07D as a DC servo over there, right behind that cable. Let's try to move that away and zoom in. OP07D over here. So I think that's it. Maybe a little pan over the boards that are visible here. Yeah. So you'll be able to spot something interesting. If you will, give me a shout in the comments. Let's zoom in at the actual some amplifier board. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of transistor pairs. They are placed in the top row over there, and also in the bottom row, in the bottom of the board. And we have two boards, exactly the same boards, placed like that. One more thing that may be worth noting, take a look at that. All of the wires are routed super neatly. There are no random connections, there are no random wires that are lying loosely in the amplifier on the bottom plate. Everything is neat, everything looks like very well thought construction. Yeah, so I have a pretty high hopes for the sound quality of this amplifier. Remember, this is just the first look, so stay tuned for the full review. I will try to do that as soon as possible because those guys need to travel back to Jakub. Yes, they do need a proper burn-in. I've already connected them to check if everything's fine. And yes, you can actually hear that they haven't been burned in because the top end was quite closed, and it should open. As far as I remember, with T9.4 it took like 2 or 3 days, and the top end perfectly opened, being airy, transparent, and very, very, maybe not exactly relaxed, but the power of T9.4 and the power of those amplifiers means that the sound is very effortless. And that's what I'm hoping to get from those guys, 2 of them. That's just 1 of them. I think I'll probably have to get both of them for the miniature photo for the video. So that's it. Heavy, solid. Let's hope it sounds as good or better, should be better than T9.4. See you next time. Bye guys.